Hello everyone, I'm Sheriff Mark Hackel. Just want to talk a little bit about community service and the support that we get from the public in helping us do what it is we do. Actually, it brings me back to the whole issue or the concern about law enforcement to begin with. And the founder of law enforcement, modern day policing if you will, was an individual from London, Sir Robert Peel. And his attempt to try to get this understanding of what the police efforts are and what the public's responsibility is couldn't have been more, I guess, well put or well fitting for today's era. And again, the statement that he made is the police are the public are the police. The only difference is that the police get paid to do what society should be doing for one another. We are a paid police law enforcement agency as a sheriff's department, the state police, and local law enforcement. Yet there is absolutely no question about it. We still need and always have needed the support of the public to help us do what it is we do. It is not the issue of just law enforcement to go out there and try to help resolve crimes. And in fact, we don't have those super senses that sometimes people think we have. The super ability to see, to hear, to smell, to sense things. Yet we in law enforcement are the ones that respond to these particular incidents because of the superpowers we get from the public. And what do I mean by that? Usually it's the public who brings things to our attention. Today, now so more than ever, anytime somebody sees somebody who's out there driving erratically or there's a problem, we're getting people calling us on 911 on their cell phones, bringing those issues to our attention. We're probably identifying drunk drivers more so now than we had in the past because of the support and the help from the public. It's also an issue or a concern we get whether it's domestic violence, something that's happening in the home. We don't know or we can't hear those things when we're driving down the street, but yet we get those calls from the public telling us something is going on or something's wrong happening, whether it's inside their home or they're hearing it from a neighbor. With home invasions, people sensing or noticing that there's a suspicious vehicle out in front of their home or speeders in and around their neighborhood. These calls are the things that bring us to these particular situations and help resolve those crimes. We need the public support. There's always a concern as to whether or not there's enough police officers around. In fact, we hear that a lot. People will always say there's never a cop around when you need one. Unless, of course, you're traveling someplace and you're in a hurry to get there. You happen to be speeding a little bit. Next thing you know, you see that police officer sitting on the shoulder of the road and you kind of wish that he or she wasn't there at that time. But for the most part, we in law enforcement recognize that there's been additional responsibilities that have been put on us and less actual resources available to help do that. Since 9/11, September 11th, that situation, the tragic day, we have noticed within this state alone there's been 1,600 less law enforcement officers, meaning 1,600 less police officers in the state of Michigan alone. I think it's as a result of the economic times. As difficult as it is, we've had to downsize. Many agencies have had to downsize as a result. Yet we're still out there attempting to do the work that we need to do to try to help resolve crime and help solve issues within the communities. The Sheriff's Department up in the northern end has a presence. We are here to try to respond to any type of an emergency that may occur up in the north end. We work with the state police. Sometimes local municipalities will even share resources through mutual aid agreement to those unincorporated areas. Yet there is definitely the need or still the concern about getting engaged the public. And the public's help, without question, is something that helps us tremendously more than any efforts that we can put forth. We are always going to have a presence. There's, again, budgetary constraints that I have as Macomb County Sheriff with a Board of Commissioners that makes a determination as to how much financial resources or support I get. Yet I get to make the determination as to need. I have to have some kind of a presence dealing with some type of an emergency response up in the north end, and as I think most people recognize, they do see that response. Yet sometimes when you have less resources, it sometimes might mean response times are slowing down, or you're not going to have somebody in your neighborhood patrolling just to make sure that there's not speeders. Those are some of the difficult things that communities, as they grow, need to make a determination as to whether or not they want to tailor something specific to their needs. Yet, anybody who has a particular complaint or a problem or a concern needs to recognize that we're just a phone call away. Again, the question as to how long it's going to take us to get there, the resources available, is always going to be suspect. However, if you have a problem, please pick up that phone and don't be afraid to dial 911. How that works, simply put, is if you're in one of the unincorporated areas or the northern end of the county, that 911 call more than often that will be coming to the Macomb County Sheriff's Dispatch Center. That call is looked at, prioritized, and they make a determination when they send it out as to what area of the county that call gets sent out to. Those that are responding, listening to that call, have an obligation to respond to it. If it's a sheriff's responsibility, we have officers that will actually call directly if nobody steps up to say we want that call. The state police are monitoring our radio frequency on a continuous basis, and they too have been very supportive and very helpful in responding to those calls as they hear them as well. So up in the north end, you probably have a few resources as far as what we had in the past. Yet, we're going to try to respond, and again, those 911 calls will be answered. But we definitely need the support of the public to help us. Those eyes and ears, we hear about that all the time. People talk about eyes and ears. Eyes and ears is simply put, if you see something that looks suspicious, you get that hunch that something just isn't right. 99% of the time, you're right. And again, when in doubt, let us check it out. If there's something you see in and around your neighborhood that just looks suspicious, looks unusual, out of place, somebody sitting on the side of the road that's broke down, please bring it to our attention so that we can at least make an attempt to check it out and see what's going on. You may not even realize something that you see looking suspicious as a vehicle in your neighborhood, parked down the street, thinking maybe there's nothing to that. Yet we may be working with many cases that we have seen, like up in the North End with a recent rash of home invasions, that might be that key piece of the puzzle that helps us resolve this particular complaint, because we've been looking for a vehicle that matches that description. And now we find that vehicle that you point out, grab a license plate from it, and make a determination these are the suspects that have been engaged in this activity that has been happening in and around your neighborhoods. So again, I can't state it any more emphatically. We need the support of the public, we need your help, and we want to continue working with you. But again, the number that you really need to know, or the only number you really need to know, is 911. We talk about it, we educate our kids on it. Again, we're here, we're available. Just give us a call and we will respond to the particular complaint that you may have. So again, I want to thank you for your support in working with us as law enforcement agencies. You can guarantee that the Sheriff's Department here in Macomb County, the state police, and local law enforcement that are able to, through their mutual aid agreement, are going to be there to support you as well. But again, we need your help. So thank you for listening, thank you for your time and patience, and again, we look forward to working with you into the future.